Well, hello, it's John Nurden here with my audio notebook on the sun-kissed Isle of Sheppey. I'm near the island's 3 prisons, but where exactly? Well, if I say in my best Biggles voice that I have bandits at 2 o'clock, then you may deduce I am at Eastchurch Aviation Museum, where I'm tracking down those magnificent men in their flying machines.
Looping the loop and defying the ground. They're all rightfully keen, those magnificent men in their flying machine.
Now, one of Sheppey's big secrets is that it is the birthplace of British aviation. Charles Rolls, he of Rolls-Royce, learned to fly here along with wartime Prime Minister Sir Winston Churchill, who might well have said, we will fly them over the beaches. It was where on October the 30th, 1909, John Moore Brabazon became the first Englishman to fly a circular 1-mile course in a British-made heavier-than-air flying machine and pocketed a £1,000 prize from the Daily Mail in the process. Now, the flight lasted just 2 minutes and 36 seconds with an average height of 20 feet. 5 days after scooping the prize, he strapped a piglet into a wicker basket and took it up for a spin to dispel the theory that pigs can't fly. These pioneers were all amazing characters, and a lot of them are quite stinkingly rich, risking their lives in contraptions put together with bits of wood, string and Irish linen for the wings. So, why am I here? Well, the trustees and volunteers have spent the last year or so creating a brand new extension, or as us flying types say, a new wing for the museum, which is due to open to the public on Tuesday at 10 a.m. As I work my way down to the far end, I can see an incredible diorama of the famous Gordon Bennett air race. Gordon Bennett, I hear you cry. Yes, well, there really was a chap called Gordon Bennett, and his dad sponsored wacky races with cars and planes. His first international race was held in New York, the second was in France, and the third, on July the 1st, 1911, was at Eastchurch on the Isle of Sheppey. Incredibly, more than 10,000 spectators turned up to witness the spectacle, which was won by the American Charles Wayman with an average speed of 78.1 miles per hour. 2 out of the 6 planes crashed. Now, a retired geography teacher, Stephen Foster from Maidstone, has created the start of the race with 1 in 72 models. They are small, but perfectly formed. He's donated them all to the museum, and if you squat in front of the display case, which is what I'm doing, you can marvel at them at the same level. And I'm with husband and wife team, Rosemary and Martin Hawkins, who are both trustees of the museum. Who came up with the idea of a new extension and what's been going on?
I think originally it was a result of a chat with one of the prison officers who indicated that they have a number of prefabricated buildings and we might be able to have one and use that as a basis for building an extension to the museum.
We've had COVID, the lockdown. Did that affect you?
Yes. Oh, it did. Yeah. We had a period of well over a year when we were only allowed one person out here at a time. So I was out here 2 or 3 days a week, but basically working on my own.
Describe to the listeners what the extension looks like and what you're putting in it.
Okay. Well, we've got 2 prefabricated buildings made into an L shape and joined onto the existing museum with a linking door. So it gives us about 3 times the floor space we had before and enables us to space everything out properly and create a proper timeline around the building so people can properly understand the story of Eastchurch. But we've also built into it a proper foyer and a shop area, and as you're sitting in here, an audio-visual room so that we can show people a short video of the history when they arrive. And we've been able to rationalise the whole flow within the building, make it more disabled friendly, and do lots of good things.
Just a few days to go. Is it going to be ready?
I think it will be mostly ready. There might still be a few exhibits that need a few extra labels, or some of the showcases might need a few extra bits and pieces put in them. We don't want to fill everything absolutely to the brim, because we're always hopeful that we'll find more exhibits that are relevant to the story of Eastchurch.
Yeah.
So let's come through to the back of the museum. This is, I suppose, a kind of a research sort of office, but by the looks of it, although the curator, Peter West, has taken it on as a temporary office. Peter, what's happening here?
Well, we're using this temporarily, as you say, as somewhere that I can live and do some paperwork and try and keep up to date with everything that's happening in the museum.
What can visitors expect to find in Eastchurch Aviation Museum?
An illustration of the birth of aviation in Britain, place where what we record is, and what we illustrate is things like the first British pilot's licence being flown, a test for which being flown here, the first British pilot in an all-British aeroplane flown on the Isle of Sheppey, the first volume aircraft factory, certainly in the UK and probably on the planet, here on the Isle of Sheppey.
So why isn't Eastchurch and Sheppey better known for its aviation history?
Well, John, the reason is that if you were a rich young man or woman in the first 2 decades of the 20th century, and you wanted to play at the sport of flying, then you went to somewhere like Hendon or Brooklands. If you wanted to be involved in the technical development of flying, then you came probably with your own Pioneer aircraft to Eastchurch, but you kept quiet about it because you are a pioneer.